my right, and Debbie to my we're excited. It took a little bit of time. I'm very glad that we got here early, Valencia, because took a second to get acclimated with the technology, the room. But Greg, we got a chance to meet Greg in person. Greg, thank you. He's also looking in. And so we're here. We're excited. And we look forward to when we're able to have other people join us and get this hybrid meeting on a regular schedule. So that's why we wanted to come ahead of time. Leaders go first, right? So we had to come out, check things out, work out the kinks, so we're ready for our members and guests going forward. So without any further ado, again, our president, Sarah Mary, she's traveling on business. She wanted us to go ahead, and she sends her love and her light, her energy to all the members. So we're going to go ahead and get this party kicked off. I'm going to pass it to our Toastmaster of the day, who is Sonia. Let's go ahead and give it up for Sonia. Take it away, Sonia.
Fantastic, family, and welcome to Southpark Toastmasters. My name is Sonia Ponce. I get the absolute amazing opportunity to be your Toastmaster of the day, where we are going to talk a little bit about what it means to have a little bit of forward motion, the act of moving forward, and oftentimes moving forward toward a goal. In Toastmasters, our goals are centered around something called the Distinguished Club Program, also known as the DCP. And whether you notice it or not, every intentional, and I want to emphasize that word, intentional action in Toastmaster space is mapped to those 10 goals on the DCP. Effective club administration, recruiting new members, but also engaging members, leadership training, and educational enrichment through projects and speeches. Again, every action is intentional because the fruits of the labor leads to you. The amplification of your voice, of your passion, of your unlimited possibilities. Now in Toastmasters, we change narratives, one meeting, one role, one speech, one project, and one welcome to Toastmasters at a time. So nothing beats the time like the present. So let's get into it. I would love to introduce you to the members of our team today who's going to help usher in this amazing experience. First up, I'm going to need someone to volunteer to be the invocation or joke master. Who has something fabulous to impart to us today? If not, I'm going to volunteer on somebody.
Alisanne's got her hand raised.
Alisanne, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I am so glad to be here. Oh, good afternoon. This is afternoon for you all. Good morning in Chicago. I want to introduce you to a fabulous word that I recently has become a part of my vocabulary, and that word is yet. I have been so fixated on the fact that I have not gotten my driver's license. I haven't done a lot of things that I wanted to do. And I was looking at this list and thinking, I haven't accomplished anything until I discovered the little word yet. I put yet behind everything on my list, and it gave me optimism. It gave me an opportunity to move forward, to look at that list as a launching board. I haven't done it yet. Don't mean that I won't do it. Just haven't done it yet. So the next time you're looking at all the stuff that you have to do and you have not done, I would encourage you to put that little word behind it, yet. I haven't learned to play the violin yet, but one day I am going to play the violin. Back to you.
Fantastic job, Allison. And I love that yet, setting the intention of yet in order to get something done. And what we know here in Southpark Toastmasters is done is better than perfect. So always set the intention of yet. It's going to happen. I'm envisioning it. I'm prophesying over you. Thank you so much, Dr. Reverend Alice. And the first functionary I want to call on, because it takes a team to do a Toastmasters meeting, will be our grammarian. I would like to call up our grammarian, but before I call up our grammarian, I want them to answer this question. Our grammarian today is going to be John O'Connor. John, before you tell us about our role, we want to hear a little bit about your forward motion. Tell us, how has Toastmaster impacted your professional or personal life?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. It has helped with development with communication. I'm at a networking group that I love that helps my business, not as much as I love Toastmasters, of course. And I constantly find myself sharpening my tools, getting better, but also criticizing all 40 to 50 members in the group for their ums and ahs and ways they shouldn't be speaking. So it's changed my mindset a little bit. And it was funny because Sarah Mary actually joined me on one of those meetings, and we sat next to each other, obviously, and we just couldn't stop laughing at both of us nitpicking at people's communication. So it's made me very aware of not only others, but myself and how I'm communicating. And it's just been terrific so far. So thanks for the question. I will let you all know about the word of the day today. But first, I just wanted to point out to you that I am the grammarian. What I do is I listen for filler words, ums, ahs, so's, things like that nature, inaudible pauses. I also select the word of the day, which today will be a boon, B-O-O-N. And I'm going to post it in the chat now in a minute, but basically a boon is something that can be helpful or beneficial. If I use it in a sentence, I'm going to say, parks are a great boon to the people in big cities. It's an advantage. It's a help. So I will put that in the chat in 1 second. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, John. Next up, I'm going to call on our timer, who is Maddie, brand new to the family. Maddie, before you start, tell us a little bit about what you're anticipating your forward motion will look like while you're in Toastmasters.
Sure thing. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I am just hoping to kind of bounce off of what John said, just to become a more eloquent speaker, speak with confidence, with grace. I'm a fast talker, and so I'm hoping I can learn to pause, take a breath, and just improve all around. All right, so let me tell everyone the role of timer today. So as timer, I will time the table topic speakers, the formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards. So table topic speakers, you should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will raise the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I will raise the red card. For the other speeches, I will limit to 5 to 7 minutes in length. So at 5 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 6 minutes, the yellow card, and at 7, the red card. And then finally, the individual evaluations should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, the yellow, and then at 3 minutes, the red. So hopefully you will use these cards as a boon in your speakings today. All right, thank you. Back over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Fantastic. Next up, I want to call on Carla Sherry. Carla, if you could give a tagline about how important it is for forward motion in your life, give us your tagline. Think Bravo Housewives, and then tell us a little bit about your role.
That's an interesting topic. My tagline for forward motion would be, you only have today. My tagline would be, you only have this moment. This is your forward moment. This is your moment. So make the most of this moment. That would be it.
Fantastic. Now tell us a little bit about what it means to be a general evaluator.
The general evaluator leads the evaluation portion of the program. It's a team effort. I will call on the evaluators who will evaluate each of the speeches, and then I will call on both the timer and grammarian to give their reports. When I'm done with that, I will give an overall evaluation of the meeting, my impressions, and then I will turn it back over to the Toastmaster. And with that, I turn this back over to you, Sonia. And I should mention, this will be my first time being general evaluator. So if I miss anything, please feel free to contribute to that. So my forward motion becomes a boondoggle and I get better. I hope boondoggle counts, John.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Ron K is with us. Ron K, welcome back. She had a word for us. We already did the invocation, but we'll come back to her at the end of the meeting because we believe everything in Toastmaster is intentional and she's going to send us off with something amazing. Now we will start the most amazing part of the Toastmaster experience, our prepared speeches. First up, I would like to call Jamil Massey. Jamil, Jamil is going to speak today from, it doesn't say, for me.
I think it's motivational strategies, level 3, inspire your audience.
Fantastic. I would like to call on his evaluator today, Ms. Valencia Tams, to give us a little background about what's the purpose of his speech and what she's going to be looking for today. Valencia.
Today, I'm serving as a speech evaluator, and in Toastmasters, we give constructive feedback for our speakers when they have a prepared speech. We tell them what they did well and what they might want to work on. So as evaluator, I'm hoping that I can give Jamil something that he can use in future speeches that would enhance his speaking experience. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our president and distinguished Toastmaster, Jamil Massey.
I'm not sure what it was. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I have a question for you all. Have you ever been following someone who didn't know where the heck they were going? That is the worst feeling in the world, to be following someone and they take a right turn, they look around, they say, I don't remember this being here. Then they take a left turn and they're looking around again and they just don't know where the heck they're going. That is the worst feeling in the world. Meanwhile, you're looking at your clock, you're looking at your watch, you got somewhere to go. Nobody likes to waste time. Somebody might be in the car, they might have to go to the bathroom, like I thought we're gonna get here by this time because I gotta pee, and this guy is just driving around in circles. This ain't good. Typical guy thing. I am very guilty of hopping in a car, thinking I know where I'm going because I know the general area, but I don't know the address. So I have a question for you all. Where are you going? So this is a general question and it can be applied in so many different areas. It makes me recall a trip that I took with my younger kids. Y'all know just about every story I have. Gotta have these kids in. I got 5 kids, so I got content for days, baby. So this was a trip to Old Salem. Old Salem is a city in the Raleigh area in North Carolina. And this was with my second youngest child, my youngest daughter, her name is Jalen. It's 5th grade trip, and they needed a chaperone. I was like, okay, I need a day off work, I need something else to do. It'll be fun, they need a chaperone, and it'll be my chance to give back to help. So I said, all right, I'm going to Old Salem. So the teacher has been sending out the weekly communications, this is the agenda. And when we get there to the elementary school, the teacher says, the water bottles are over here, we're gonna have everybody go to the restroom, and then we're gonna load up the buses. So the teacher seemed like he was giving us instructions for the past week. So I'm like, okay, he knows what he's doing, we're gonna follow this guy. So we hop on the bus, we're riding down along, the kids are just talking, gagging, throwing spitballs at each other, I might have thrown a couple myself to some of the kids because everybody knows I'm a big kid at heart. So we finally get to Old Salem. We step off of the bus and he gives there's a couple other moms there, a couple other parents, a couple other tour guides. And we asked him, okay, now where do we go? Where are we going first? And he says, well, you guys can do whatever you want. You can let them go and see whatever they want. Now, wait a minute. These are elementary school kids. It's 30 of them. We don't want them doing whatever the heck they want, not on a school field trip. So me and a couple of the moms huddle up. I said, look, we got this map. This is what we're gonna do. I said, I can go with this group. One of the other moms volunteered to take another group, and we worked together. We had a map in our hand, and we said, we're gonna start on this end of the tour, see these buildings, and circle back to the end destination. Because one thing he did, he said, y'all just make sure you're back on the bus by 3 o'clock. We were good from that point. The concerning part was, he had been leading all the way up to the event. We get there to the event, and he didn't know where to go from there. He gave us the maps and then said, do whatever you want. Now, how does this apply to where you're going in your life? You see, many times we just get in a car mentally or figuratively. We start going toward a destination, but we don't have a map of where we actually want to go. What do we want to do with our goals? If it's yard work, how do we want the yard to be cut? How do we want the bushes trimmed back? How long? How much? If we're planting flowers, which flowers are we going to get? There's a litany of flowers. If it's a financial goal, I just want to save money or I want to make more money. Okay, here's $1. You got more money. Like you have to know exactly where you want to go and what that destination is. So as I'm learning, if you don't have a crystal clear plan, if you don't have a crystal clear vision of where you want to go, it's very difficult to get there. I'll give you another example. I remember back when I was 16, 17 years old, I was in high school already thinking I want to have a big family. Now this is kind of strange to have an 11th grade boy thinking about having a family, right? They might think about having girlfriends, but they're not really thinking about the family and kids and stuff like that. But I always wanted that. And fast forward to several years later, I ended up getting married, start having all these kids, and I'm like, okay, Lord have mercy. I have a big family. But what I did not realize is once you have that family, I wanted a close family too, but I never really thought about what makes a close family close. I just figured if I want a close family, it'll end up being close. Not true. And proximity that's one level of close. But relationship-wise is what I was looking for. What I wanted was to have my kids to be able to have conversations with them about whatever they wanted. I wanted them to feel comfortable talking to me about whether it's boyfriends, girlfriends, school, sports, what they want to do in life. I just figured if I wanted it, therefore, they would knock on my door. Dad, I have something I want to talk to you about. I would really appreciate your adult input on it. Guess what? When they become teenagers, they don't come to talk to you too quick. Actually, it's the opposite. They want to get away from you. Like, Dad, what do you want? So I didn't realize all these things, but it took me a while. And this happened with my oldest son. He was in around 8th grade. And that's that honorary, back in the day, we would say, he's smelling himself. Like he's starting to get a little bit more confident. He's starting to make his own decisions. He's in 8th grade, 13 years old. But he's able to think with some form of logic, even though it might be twisted. But I didn't realize why every time I came around him, he had this attitude. He always had this look on his face like, here you are again. What do you want this time? And so as I walked away from some of these conversations, these interactions and the experience that I was having with him, they were colliding. I wanted the close family, but I was getting the snarl face. This was a problem. So it took me some time to think about, every time I come around him, it's, did you do your chores? Did you cut the grass? Did you empty the trash like I told you? Every single time it had to do with something that I wanted from him. And that closeness that I was looking for, that I thought would magically happen, I wasn't adding that closeness, so therefore I wasn't getting out of it that closeness. So it took a while. It's taken several years. He's 22, he's 21 now. And as I began to work on what closeness is, what closeness looks like, closeness is a relationship to where he and I could talk freely. And the more I defined what that was and started to work on it, then I end up to where we talk for hours now about basketball, about life, about what he wants to do after college. I'm so proud of him. So the moral of this story, if I can challenge you to do anything else, is answer this question. What do you want? What do you want in your relationships, in your finances, in your career? What do you want? Once you answer that question, you can help lead yourself to that destination. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jamil. Jamil said a whole lot of stuff in that, but the first thing he said, you got to have roadmap. So in the chat, in the Zoom chat, you do have our agenda for today. That is our roadmap. But something he also said, but know what you want and be intentional about it. Intentional connections take work. And here in Toastmasters, that's what we're teaching us. That's what we're modeling as a family. This is what we're doing. We're establishing intentional connections through speeches and projects and opportunities. So thank you so much, Jamil, our president, as well as a distinguished Toastmaster who just shows us what it means to be intentional with how we tackle an issue, whether it be in our personal life or our professional life. So thank you so much, Jamil. Next up, our speaker will be Dr. Alex, and also a distinguished Toastmaster. I am her evaluator today, so I'm going to read the objectives of her speech. This is her first speech as a part of her second DTM attempt. Ladies and gentlemen, her second DTM attempt, and DTM means Distinguished Toastmaster. If you don't know, that's the highest Toastmaster award you can ever achieve. And less than 1% of Toastmasters, over 300,000 Toastmasters strong, have a DTM. So that's pretty powerful that she's going for her second one. So here's the goals or objectives of her first speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to demonstrate his or her skills as a leader and as a public speaker. The purpose of the first speech, which is the 5 to 7 minute selection, is for the member to introduce his or her plan and vision. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Alice Ann Crump, DTM, said this in her introduction. Everyone uses an app that seems to make life a little easier. Reverend Dr. Alice Ann Crump, DTM, God has an app for that. God has an app for that. Reverend Dr. Alice Ann, DTM.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. God really does have an app for everything that we need. I wanted to create this summer a series that I would invite other people to come on my podcast and talk about their life experience and the app that they use to get through it. How many of us have a Bible app on our phone? Do you have Google on your phone? What I love about Google app, especially the map, it usually says current location. That means the app already know where you are, and you type in where you want to go, and the app tells you how to get there. By driving, public transportation, in Chicago, with a blue bike, it even tell you how to get there walking. And I thought, as easy as apps make our lives, especially me, I use apps for a little bit of everything. They're on my phone, they're on my iPad, they're even on my computer. Especially because I like making flyers and video commercials. There's an app for that. But I also realize that people are going through things, navigating this thing we call life. And there are apps for that too. Me personally, found them in Bible. But that's not my topic today. My topic today is about the podcast series. I've had several people come on thus far this summer. Someone who was incarcerated gave us the Bible verse that she used to help her get through that time of her life when she was incarcerated. There was a young lady that came on and said she had an abortion and she couldn't forgive herself. She talked about those processes. And what I wanted to ensure people, whoever was listening, that whatever they was going through, whatever they needed to navigate through, there was an app to help them get through it. Now, me personally, because I'm a woman of faith, my app was the application from the Bible. But everyone doesn't believing about them. And everyone don't live by them. But what I found out was the people that listen to the podcast this summer, that was my project, that they would call me back and say, that was such an encouraging thing to say. I realized I'm not the only person going through it. I'm not the only person dealing with a crisis. For me, most of you know, my crisis was my husband. I've been in the hospital with him, the nursing home with him, and if I had not shared with you all, he is at home. Now I'm at home with him. I needed something to help me through all of those crises, to keep me grounded. And I thought because it wasn't just me, I know I'm not the only person going through some things, that I would create an atmosphere and a platform where people can come and tell their story and tell what apps they use, how they worked through it. What did they have to hold on to? What was their source of encouragement? What was the motivating force to push them forward? I wanted to create that type of atmosphere, and the response was phenomenal. People are saying, you're going to extend it? And I am until the end of August. But it was June, July, and people came in both for 15 minutes, maybe to an hour, of talking about the various things that they've been through. I love the fact that they was willing to come in and talk. People was willing to come and call in and say, that was my situation. I can get through this. I was so elated to find out it really helped people. That was my goal. Had to have a goal in mind. That was my goal. Create a platform where people can come and share their story and share that God had an app for that. And that we can download that app into our own spirit. Download those thoughts, those encouraging words, pat on the back that tell us, keep going, don't give up, don't fail. Even if you fall down, you can get back up. Those was the kind of words that was given during the podcast. I worked really, really hard, getting people from all walks of life to become a part and tell their story. I've even asked members of my Toastmasters club to speak on our podcast, to tell their story. I'm so excited that I got an overwhelming response. Yes, I'll be there. What day do you want to do it? And it was so powerful that we didn't wait until 10 o'clock because it airs every Friday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time on talkshoe.com. But I was able to interview people ahead of time and just play the broadcast back. I am so excited. I think I'm gonna have to do this series more than once, but I'm excited that the program has worked. The podcast is flourishing. I am so excited that I get to share this with you. Thank you.
Fantastic, Dr. Alice Ann, DTM. We appreciate you. One of the things that Dr. Alice Ann brought to my attention is not only is there an app for that, but there's organizations like Toastmasters that gives you support for that. So in the chat, I'm going to put the web page for our district, District 37. There are individuals here that want to help you achieve anything you need to achieve in Toastmasters, but also your DTM. And I'm gonna share a story with you. I am a TLI stalker. I do it for two reasons. One, I teach in TLI and another district, so I gotta step up my game. I gotta figure out what other people are doing, but I wanna see every culture of different districts. And I visited District 96 and we had to set an intention. And this is the practice I want you to do today. I want you to set your Toastmaster intention. And they told us to put it in the chat. And I said, okay. And immediately I put it in the chat. The district director said, hey, I want to help you with that. Give me a call next week. He didn't even know me. And I had to send him a chat, hey, I'm just visiting. But he said, still call me anyway. As Toastmasters, we are charged with standing in the gap to help someone do what? Their forward motion. Through Toastmasters. We are the brand ambassadors of Toastmasters. We are the Toastmasters contagion. So I want you to put in the chat what you're hoping to get out of Toastmasters. And for our family who are in the library, can you have whoever's on the Toastmasters Zoom account to type in your chat and type in your goal in the chat. And we want to stand in the gap for each other when it comes to your Toastmasters experience. But up next, this is an opportunity that everyone can benefit from. It's table topics. So I'd love to call up Debbie Tertanger and ask her this question. Debbie, you've been an officer for a while in Southpark Toastmasters. Tell us, how has being a club officer given you forward motion in your professional and personal life?
Well, that's a great question, and thank you. I have been an officer early on. I started Toastmasters, and I was fortunate to be given the opportunity to work as membership. And then I had the opportunity to work as treasurer. And it was trial by fire. I was learning as I went and got help and support from everybody, but it just gave me an opportunity to see, but to look at Toastmasters not as just someone who attends, but somebody that is part of the group. And I felt camaraderie with the other officers and just a commitment to the club that was strong. So I think that's how it helped me to go forward. So I recommend taking those opportunities when they come your way. And I think Toastmasters, one of our mantras is when you're asked for help, say yes.
Mhm.
So it fits with what Dr. Crump was saying, just say yes. And you'll have help and support, and you'll take on a great opportunity as well. So thank you.
Yes.
Fantastic. What a way to demonstrate impromptu speaking. Tell us a little bit about your Topics Master role and throw some questions at us. We're ready. We're ready. We're ready.
Okay, table topics is an opportunity to practice thinking on your feet. I think in the workplace or just in everyday life, those opportunities come our way often. And if you're like me, you often take the opportunity and then later on you go, I should have said, I should have said this or responded this way. So I think table topics gives us an opportunity to practice that, and it is fun. You have a minute or two to you listen, and then you take a minute or two to respond. And there's no right way, there's no wrong way. It's how you feel or what you think about something. And you can even make stuff up. I've learned that along the way, that it could be something you made up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jamil says yes.
Yeah.
Valencia says yes. So maybe we've all done it. All right. So is there a volunteer who would be willing to be take the first table topic question? I got a tie. So I have 3 questions, and I'll start with Carla, and then I'll go to Dr. Crump. And the first one, Carla, it's all related to the theme of forward motion. And for you, tell us your strategy for accomplishing goals or moving forward in your own life.
Thank you for that question, Madam Table Topics Master. I did have a plan for moving forward in my life. I got it when I was in my early 20s. Up until that point, I was living life, going to college, finishing childhood, traveling, all those things. And someone gave me a book called The 1 Minute Manager. And I read that book. It's only this big, very small book. And it takes you through a series of questions. And at the end of it, basically it says that you have 1 month to live. What are these things would you do? It's worthy of the read. I don't know if it's even published. And I did that book. And in that book, I came up with about, as a result, 12 goals. And by the time I was in my 50s, I had reached all those goals. And I was really proud of myself because they were big goals: house, family, health, savings, all those sort of things, travel. And then I said, what's next? So then I got that same book out and I did it again, and I came up with other goals. Coincidentally, this morning before this program, I was on the phone with my former au pair, who's a life coach in London. And I was talking about my next goals and trying to figure out what do I want to do. And that's sort of where I am right now. I'm in a new city, beyond my first career, children are grown. It's like I am in the process of setting my next set of goals, which have to do with dreams and creativity. Thank you. It was a timely question for me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Carla. Great tips on how to get inspired by reading material and things like that that are, I think, really important for all of us. And books and people and situations really offer those opportunities. So thank you for taking that question and demonstrating how to think on your feet. All right, we're going to go to Dr. Crump next. And Dr. Crump, maybe you've had the situation where you try to encourage others to have forward motion. You know, it's not yourself, but it's maybe somebody that you care about or somebody you know, and you want to encourage them to have forward motion. So think about yourself in that role, and what's the best advice on forward motion or progressing in their life that you give to others to help them learn what you've learned and move forward in their life?
Great question, Madam Table Topic Master. My hashtag for my tagline is become what you believe. And I will encourage everyone to become what they believe. You're going to be a doctor. I have a ministry for young ladies. And the first thing I do is ask when they come in, what do you want to be when you grow up? Someone say they want to be a doctor, someone that nurses, whatever it is they want to become. My response every day when I see them, hello, Dr. Harris, how are you? Why do you call me Dr. Harris? Because you said you want to be a doctor. I want you to become what you believe. So every time I meet one of those young ladies, whatever they told me they wanted to be when they grew up, that's what I call them. Esquire, you want to be a lawyer, whatever it is that they say. I want to be a nurse, Nurse Harris, Nurse Jones. Every time there's always a title in front of their name because I want them to become what they believe. One of the young ladies told me, she said, I want to be a multi-billionaire. Every time I see her, I say, multi-billionaire, how are you doing today? And she smiled, but she knows whenever she sees me, that's what I'm going to say to her. I am going to always identify those young ladies with what they told me that they want to be. Even if they change midstream, I don't want to be that anymore. I want to be this, whatever it is that they tell me. My word to them is always become what you believe. I want to keep it before. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Crump. It's always good to be reminded of our dreams and our goals. So you're that person for those young ladies. Madam Toastmaster, do we have time for one more?
One quick one. Yes.
Okay, this is a fun one and it's on the light side. So do we have a volunteer?
Well, Jennifer looks like she wants to do it.
Or Maddie? Okay, Maddie. Thank you for volunteering. And this last one is, you're a CEO of a new business and your new business is called Forward Motion. Tell us about your business. Or your
Thank
new
you
company.
for the question. I'm timing myself at the same time. I just realized that's my role. If I had a company called Forward Motion, we would absolutely be a youth soccer team. And we would have 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds. We'd be running all around the field and we would be practicing, right? Like, how do you advance the ball? So if you can't tell, I'm a big soccer fan. How do you advance the ball forward, right? And you do that as a team. So you have to work together. You have to practice really good communication skills. And you really have to advance that ball together. You can pass it, right? Or you can try to dribble it yourself, but you're going to hit 9 or 10 or 11 different opponents on the field. And so you really can't have forward motion unless you're working with a team, right? And I think that's applicable in a lot of ways to a lot of our life. So yeah, if I had a company called Forward Motion, it would be teaching little kids to play soccer and to learn to move forward together.
Sounds like a great plan. Thank you. All right, back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Fantastic. Thank you all for participating in that. And I will now turn it over to Carla, who will lead in our evaluation section of our meeting. Carla.
Thank you again, Madam Toastmasters. So this has been a fantastic meeting, and I'm not getting my summary yet, but it just feels like everything has been glued and gelled together as if this was prepared as a seminar on motivation, and everything just worked. So I've enjoyed it so much. The first person I'm going to call on for our evaluation portion, let me just open up to remember who's doing the evaluation. Evaluator number 1, Valencia, I will turn this over to you to give your evaluation of Jamil's very interesting speech.
Hey, I was thinking, should I speak from my seat or should I get up? So I'm going to bring.
I think you should get up, it works better.
Not bad,
Okay.
but I'm moving. Fellow Toastmasters, I had the privilege today of evaluating Jamil's speech. And I'll tell you that I'm hoping that my feedback will be a boon for him. Jamil is a natural speaker. He gets up here, he's very comfortable with the stage, with the owl now, with looking, I think our screen here also had the our Zoom on here so he could see everyone and their reactions, and he was making eye contact with the owl, which was really nice. And also with the room, I saw him look at me and Debbie while he was speaking. He told us a story today, a couple different stories today, and started out asking, where are you going? Started this story about this school field trip where it seemed like they knew where they were going in the beginning, but then didn't figure it out. And then there was the map, but I'm not sure what happened after that. I don't know what happened to those kids, whether they found where they were supposed to go. But it was really interesting and engaging to hear that part of the story. Then Jamil told us about how he wanted family, a big family, and he wanted this family to be close knit. And then started talking about his relationship with his son. At the end of the speech, the question to us was posed, the action for us was, what do you want? But in the beginning, we were asked the question, where are you going? And I think it would be helpful for this particular speech, if you did it again, which I'm hoping you will, to thread that where you're going, where are you going question throughout the speech. Start us off, where are you going? I went on this field trip and we thought we knew where we were going. We had this tool, you had your prop, you brought up your map. We had this map. Where were we supposed to do with it? We had the tools, but what are we doing with it? Sometimes we're given tools and we don't know how to use it effectively, right? You also talked about your relationship with your son and talked about his being in 8th grade and kind of having this attitude, you know, because they get that when they start smelling themselves. We all know that. My grandmother said that. But, and I love that phrase, by the way. I'm bringing it back to 2020. When he started smelling himself, you talked about what did he want versus what you were telling him to do, and why did he have this attitude and things like that. So I think that when you start talking about your son and you talk about where he's going, maybe give us a little bit more about him. What was he working on at the time? What are some of his goals at the time? How are you helping coach him at the time? And then again, threading that where you're going throughout the speech, I think would be helpful. But your stage presence was great. I think it cut off a little bit the top of your head sometimes. So I think we have to kind of work that out with this awareness of the room. But awesome speech. I was engaged the whole time. Thank you so much.
You're muted, Paula.
Do this all in sign language again. Thank you very much for that evaluation. I think it was right on target. And I will have a question after this about where the heck is Old Salem? I'm going to New Salem in Massachusetts later this year, and I really have no idea. I've never even heard of it before. So, but Valencia, you gave a thorough and useful evaluation, so thank you very much. And now I'm going to move on to our next evaluator, which is Sonia, and Sonia will be evaluating Dr. Ellis's and speech. Sonia said yes, she would do the evaluation, so thank you very much. Turning it over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for allowing me to provide an evaluation to not only our family member, but someone who is a highlight in the Toastmasters universe, and that is Dr. Allison Crump. One of the things in Toastmasters, we say we are where leaders are made, but for leaders to be made, they need to be comfortable with articulating their vision. And Dr. Alice Ann hit that nail on the head today. And what she did with her project was to try to teach all of us as Toastmasters to embody the Toastmasters core values. That's respect, integrity, service, and excellence. And she's teaching us this by allowing us to share our stories as a part of her project to impact Toastmasters. I love that. Thank you so much for weaving in the theme of Toastmasters into your DTM project. One of the things that I love what you did was your audience awareness. You asked us straight up about our apps. And then you talk about, oh, you don't think you know an app, but you talked about all the power apps that we use, like Google. They know where you are. I love that. I also love your gestures. Your gestures were powerful. You use your body language as punctuations to your sentences. My crisis. Oh no, like I love how you use that. And you were very comfortable with your topic. Your voice didn't waver. You weren't looking at notes, very fluid with your message. You piqued our interest. Why? Because you focused on wanting us to tell our story. I love that. If you could work on something, I would ask you to work on your call of action. You talked about how everyone has been asked to be a part of your podcast, but you want to continue your podcast. Share that information with us in your chat. And one of your struggles, I believe, is your background. Don't get lost in your background. Your background has powerful information about your podcast, but it has the phone number. We can see that, but we cannot see the actual website. Understand, when we're in the virtual space, our environment becomes a part of our narrative, a part of our story. So to amplify your project, to amplify what you want to do, make sure we know about it. Throw it in the chat next time. If you want to listen, here it is. Give us the links in the chat. Also, just make sure when you're showing your Zoom space or whatever virtual space you're in, that we can see everything clearly. But again, fantastic audience awareness. You drew us in, your voice was clear, your body language. I love your body language and your gestures. They bring us in. They want us to know more about who you are and about your voice. But also, most importantly, thank you. There's something on the Toastmasters that says interest. Thank you for putting your interest of being a distinguished Toastmaster, aligning it with our interest to want to know our stories. Our stories are powerful. I say it all the time. Our stories are the breadcrumbs to our soul, and you're doing the work to make that happen. So thank you so much, and I will turn it back over to our general evaluator.
Thank you very much. Sonia, when you do an evaluation, I feel like I'm listening to a speech unto itself, and you have the single best, most descriptive vocabulary I have heard of anybody so far in my experience with Toastmasters, and I definitely enjoyed it. And I think you captured a lot. And I think Dr. Allison, who is such a distinguished speaker and so experienced, the fact that you can give her a tidbit to help her improve, I appreciate that, because a lot of times we just say, well, it was flawless. So thank you very much. Now I will go on, because we're going to run out of time. I will go on and I will turn this over to the timer and get my timers report.
Thank you, Carla. I will start with the table topics and work my way down. So funny enough, Debbie, you were not a table topic. You were the table topics master. I thought you were, though, so I scored you, and I thought you did brilliantly on your answer from Carla. So Carla, you are our first table topic, and you were right at 1:34. Great. Dr. Alice Ann, right at 1:45. And then I did one as well, I was at 1:10. So all within the time. Great job. From a prepared speech perspective, Jamil, you were over, but you were, it was like a personal story and it was really good. Your actual time was 8 minutes, 10 seconds. So something that, hey, it shows that all the experts, even we have something we can work on. It makes us newbies feel good. So thanks for throwing me a boon there.
There you go.
Dr. Alice Ann, you were 5 minutes, 40 seconds. So right in line. And our evaluators, Valencia, you are 3 minutes, 7 seconds over. So barely over. But I think you were really trying to give Jamil all the praise and critique, right, that he deserved. So you're close. And Sonia, you were 3:08. So both of our evaluators were a few seconds over today, just a few. So we were excited. I will turn it back over to Madam Toastmaster. I'm not sure.
Marion. I mean, back to me.
Marion, back to you.
Yes, because we have, I'm overwhelmed. Maddie, if this is the first time you've done it, the one thing I have definitely not done is been the timer, because getting those cards up and paying attention seems beyond my skill set right now, but I was impressed. So if you trained somewhere, I don't know how you did that so well. I'm truly impressed. And with that, I will now turn it over to our grammarian, who will give us a Boone report and grammarian report. John, over to you.
Thank you, Carla. Our word of the day, boon, was used by Carla. Just got another one in. Well done. Maddie, Valencia. So great job there, everybody. I noticed some things that stood out, a couple of ums from Valencia, Carla, and Maddie. And Maddie used a couple of so's. And I love soccer also. So that's awesome. We're going to have to talk about that sometime. It's always good to hear. Sonia, I wrote down, I couldn't recall the last of it, but I do agree wholeheartedly with what Carla was saying. Our stories are breadcrumbs. What was the rest of that? That was awesome.
They're breadcrumbs to our soul.
That's what I thought you said. That was beautiful. Thank you. Also, I love the word flourishing, Dr. Alisan, an application from the Bible. That was terrific. Really great way of putting that. Carla glued and gelled together. Great speeches from everybody today. It was great to see the three of you in person. I know I'm not in person with you, but on the screen. It was great to see all of you. Just, I recall seeing Valencia and Jamil stand up and use body language. And Jamil, your body language, your hands, your gestures throughout were just terrific. And hopefully we can all get together in person someday. Thank you. Back to you, Carla.
Thank you very much, John. A great grammarian report. I thought there was a lot of colorful language, so I appreciate it. The final thing I think I do, and let me just confirm, is I give my general impression of the meeting. Can someone, okay, thank you very much. Just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So this was a forward motion moving meeting because everything tied together in doing forward motion. I will say, to begin with, we did start the official meeting at 12:07 as compared to 12, but we were doing a lot of stuff with technology and we may run a minute over. I think it's great. There's a reason for it. I would say that Sonia, from the get-go, you had an intention how this meeting was going to go. You talked about being intentional. You educated us on what it would be to be a distinguished club, and you told us how to get there. I thought that you called on a volunteer to give us an inspirational speech, and Dr. Alician gave us a speech on saying yes, and I think that worked very well for this whole meeting and forward motion. John, I really liked the concept of boon, and because I think that it's a word we definitely don't use very much, and it isn't a normal part of language. So I think it was nice to hear a word that we don't use, and we got to learn something about it, and whether we used it right or not, it worked. Jamil, your motivational strategic level speech inspired me. I have a large family also, and I really understand about trying to know where you're going before you try to get there. Sometimes that's so important. So there's not so much chaos. I think it spoke to me. I think it spoke to everybody. And you are a great storyteller. I just was leaning forward, making sure I heard and saw everything. I agree. We all need to learn, if we're going to be on this tool, not to have our heads cut off and to be aware of where our body is. Because sometimes, especially when people are pacing around the screen, it looks like they have to go to the bathroom because they're going back and forth so much. And so we all will learn as we do this to become better at it as we do this hybrid meeting. I'm very glad about the hybrid meeting. Dr. Alizan, as always, you had a lot of encouraging words to us, and you said, whether you follow the Bible or something else, you were really talking about forward motion in your life and having a plan and an application for it. And we really, whether we use it or not, we do all have an application for how we move forward. And I thought that was really useful to learn. Sonia, again, you talked about setting intentions, great vocabulary. Toastmaster is contagious. You talked about questioning. Toastmaster lets us ask questions. I thought that was all useful things for us to think about. There was so much information today. I don't know if anybody else felt like this, but I feel like I could watch this a few more times and get a lot more tidbits. Deborah, your topics were on topics. Every one of them had to do with moving forward and how we look forward. Every answer was good. I won't take too much time on that. I love the idea, become what you believe. So I'm going to be author Carla because I want to be a writer. So that would be my new name. Overall, excellent meeting, good use of the tool, lots of inspiration. We moved the club forward. Welcome to our new members. Welcome back to our old members. And I would just say one other thing, as a thing to improve, you should try to have, I believe, who's ever doing speeches, talk to their evaluator in advance so the evaluator knows what the speech is going to be about and knows what the person who's being evaluated wants to have evaluated. We don't do that in this club. I heard about it, and maybe someday we will do it. So if you sign up early for your role as an evaluator, and if you sign up as a speaker early, then together we can actually add that one little skill set to our club as we continue to work towards being a distinguished club. Thank you very much. It's 1:02. I turn it back over to the Toastmaster for any wrap up.
Fantastic, everyone in the chat. And if you're in person, Toastmasters convention is happening next week. We are where storytellers unite. But in this group, we're where goal setters unite. Carla said that she wants to finish her path. Family, let's partner with her to do that. Alizan said she wants to write 3 books, but she also wants to become a paid motivational speaker and be bold in her speeches. Valencia said she wants to grow her TI youth leadership program. They call that YLP. She needs us to be there for her. John says he wants to be confident and faithful in his speaking, have faith in his speaking. Jennifer says she wants to combat her fear of public speaking, and she wants to do it through impromptu speaking. So she's going to be our next table topics victim. Is that the word? And then we have Maddie, who says she wants to be confident in her intros and be graceful and clear. Family, we can do it. We are storytellers, we're goal setters, and we are leaders. We are 3 minutes over. If you have any questions or concerns, please stay on. If not, have a fantastic day. And I will leave you with Warren K's motivational speech. She said, John F. Kennedy said this: as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Live by the Toastmasters core values: respect, integrity, service, and excellence, and let's be goal setters this year. With that, thank you so much, family. Stick on if you still need us. If not, have a great rest of your day.
Great job as Toastmaster, Sonia. Great job.
No, it was all of us. It was all of us. Thank you guys so much for coming out. And thank you to our hybrid team. Fantastic job. Fantastic job.
All right.
For those of you who set up the technology, really good. It looked great from an off-site perspective.
It did. And again, thank you to our library. All right, family.
Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
If you need to cut